So we're talking about lessons learned, right? So I'm Tony Wade, the Compassionate Investor, and this is the second part of a 5-part series on the top 5 lessons that I have learned that have taken me to the next level of where I'm going. And this really should probably be number 1, but they sort of are all connected. This one relates to avoidance, avoiding to doing what God tells you to do. And this was my toughest lesson yet. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So as you heard me talking about working in doing shelter work and how I ran 2 homeless shelters and then it ended. And I want to set the stage for this particular lesson because I call it avoidance, avoiding where God was wanting to take me, right? So when I stopped doing the shelter, I should have stopped and moved into where God was ready to take me because he gave me what I needed to learn when I ran those 2 homeless shelters. I got some great nuggets that I literally was supposed to take and then go to the next. But what did I do? I avoided where God was wanting me to go. And there were a lot of things that were in the way of me doing that. And number 1, I said, was pride, because I didn't want to be that one tucking my tail and running or making someone think they got me to go away. And that was my first fault, right? If I had to say, I was prideful and I wasn't going to let somebody see me tuck and run. So I stayed. That was in September of 2022. So 23, 24, literally for 2 more years, I stayed. I stayed around to the point where I had rose to the level of chair for our continuum of care. Still staying in a space of, I'm not going to let them see me tuck and run. I was prideful and I was avoiding where God really wanted me to go. So instead of leaving the shelter when I had to give the shelter up, we don't say it like that. When I gave the shelter up, and I should have left then. I should have left, started working on where God had me with building what I'm building right today, Transitional Housing Maximized Community, and teaching this work that he's called me to do. I stayed 2 years longer. So in the course of staying that 2 years, not only did I was developing acumen in that space, learning how things worked, but it was the stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I should not have been doing it. And as I look at that today, hindsight 2020, my pride would not let me say, okay, be done. God, where do you go? That was another failure. I failed to ask God what I do next. I was instead in my feelings. And I was hurt that this happened, right? Imagine having something that you had done well for 2 years stripped from you. And because I know we had done it well, all because of something I didn't have, I couldn't find, I couldn't create. So when it was taken, I then was like, well, I should have just stopped and just did what I was supposed to do next. But no, I had to stay around. I then started getting fully engaged on something completely different that I should have been focusing on, all because I was avoiding what God was calling me to do next. When I should have been praying and asking God, what do I do next? I allowed that to keep me 2 years longer than it had to be. Now think about that for a minute. When you think about doing something you shouldn't be doing, I was in the wilderness. This was like that 40 years in the wilderness. I was in the wilderness, all because I wasn't listening to what God wanted me to do next. And I stayed. And what happened after that? It just got worse. It didn't just stop there. It got worse to the point where what I thought I lost from the shelter was like 10 times worse when I became the chair of the COC, and then the attacks started to come against my character. And that's when I was like, wait a minute. Like, these are things I needed to be aware of, but I was not doing what I should have been doing to get on track with where God wanted me. I should have left that alone and trusted where God wanted me to take you. Now, I guess and let me just share this piece, because this was a piece not too many people know unless they were really close to me. I've been talking about transitional housing maximized for years. I would say maybe like around 2017, I knew where God wanted me to, what he wanted me to do. And I had been putting it off for years. I would say I was going to do a launch, and then something would happen and I put it off. Then I was saying I was going to do a launch, something would happen, then I put it off. That went on. I think I scheduled like 5 or 6 launches of when I was going to launch. And it's funny because when I go back and look at all my notes, you can see from when I started to launch each time, and I never followed through. And then COVID happened. So when COVID happened, I raised my hand and said, do the shelter, right? So I was still not doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I truly believe I got what I needed to get from the shelter. I was then supposed to take that and start applying it going forward. But here I am now in this experience and having my character attacked, having people look at me differently. All of those things say a lot. And those are the lessons I had to go through. But what it really boiled down to was, where was my laser focus? Because I was distracted. I was distracted from where God truly wanted me to be and focused on the very thing that then almost destroyed me. And I would say, as long as you don't allow the things to happen to you that take you out and you recognize it, then you keep pushing through. You keep pushing through. And that's what I did. This experience almost broke me, but I didn't allow it to break me. Did I lose some friends? Yes. I lost a lot of friends during this period. From the first piece with the shelter, I lost people who I was close to, but I lost mostly everyone who I thought was close to me during that second piece, when I ran for chair of the COC, got accepted, and then was attacked. Like boom, 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 like it was attacking me until I had to resign. Now, let's go to that moment. Because at that moment when I finally had to let go, I could have kept fighting, but I didn't. And I thank God that I didn't. Because I had to have I had to look myself in the mirror and say, Tony, who are you? What has God called you to truly do? And I had to repent. Like, I had to repent for being disobedient and not listening to what God was telling me to do. I should have left a long time ago. So through the process and recognizing that lesson and seeing it for what it was, and when I repented and asked God to forgive me, it was like immediately things opened up. I could finally see where God wanted me to do. And it wasn't just that. And that was not the only lesson at that moment. There's several lessons in there, but that one was the most profound. Another one that, because I was avoiding doing what God called me to do. I got also another business I had no business getting into. No business getting into the business I got into, but I did it anyway because it looked like an opportunity, right? And it literally almost destroyed me too. So not only was I dealing with what I was dealing with working with the COC, and then I was dealing with a business I should have never been in. So those two things were like hitting me. All because I was simply avoiding where God was taking me. I felt like literally I was Jonah in the whale because I didn't want to go where he wanted me to go. I was afraid. So by avoiding doing that, I was in the belly of the whale with the COC and with this other business I had no business being in. So as you think about your life and wherever God has you right now, you are the only one who can look at that and say, God, is this where you really want me? Is this what I should be doing? Because everything that you do from that point forward should be leading you to that direction. And if you don't know, then you shouldn't be moving. And as I look back at those lessons, and trust me, today, I'm totally different today. Like I'm daily checking in with God to make sure that I'm on the right path of where he has me and that I stay laser focused on where I'm going. And if it don't line up with that, at that moment, I'm not doing it. But that was those two lessons, dealing with what I was dealing with the COC, and then getting into a business I had no business getting into. Those two things almost destroyed me. But when I repented, that's when he started showing me, and he literally is pushing me forward. Every day he's confirming what it is that he wants me doing, which is another thing that you need to be looking for. See, If you can look at your life and see where you need to repent, repent. And then God will start showing you what you should be doing, what direction you should be going down. It should be, I don't want to say it's seamless because you still have to take action, but as you start just putting one step in front of the other, he starts showing you more and more about what you should be doing. He confirms it. And I want to trust that he will do the same for you that he did for me. So if you're going through that right now, I want to just challenge you to seek him in where you are, especially if you're going through something tough, because that lesson is there to teach you something. But once you learn it, tuck it away and learn it and then keep moving. Because as I look back even at the other lesson I had about starting a business that I should have been starting, that wasn't the only lesson. I had that lesson come in front of me at least three other times in the last 15 years. But because I did not have the discernment to, and I didn't pray and ask God to show it to me and then for him to confirm it, I fell down that. So I've repeated that lesson there at least 3 times, but I won't be repeating it again because I seek him on a regular basis with where I'm going. So I just want to encourage you through that. I'm hoping that this lesson, as I said, was my toughest lesson, but it taught me how to rely on him for my guidance and direction. And it taught me how to rely on him for everything, not just the things that I want to come to him for. I come to him for all things. And am I still learning lessons? Absolutely. When you hear this next lesson I've got for you, it is a doozy too. So I just want to encourage you as you are seeking who God really wants you to be, that you take the time to understand where you are going. And then the lessons he gives you, learn them so you don't repeat them. So hopefully this has blessed you. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.